Well, whether you like to plant your aquatic plants into the substrate or if you just like floating plants, boy, have I got the plant for you. Welcome back to the small scape. Yes, I'm talking about another one of my favorite aquatic plants. This one is called Dwarf Ambulia, also known as Umbulis by a lot of people. It's a great plant, and I believe I have 10 solid reasons why I think you are gonna love it as well. Number one, I already told you, you can plant it into the substrate. You can also float it. It's a really great plant either way. It does great either way, and I think it looks really pretty just floating on the top of the water, which brings me to number two. It's similar to Hornwort, but this is why it's number two, because I think it's really prettier than Hornwort. It's like an improved version of Hornwort in my book, because it has what are called whorls, and they're like little circular discs, and the leaves are really, really fine and kind of feathery, and they form little circles, and they're just really beautiful. When I float them on the water on the top of the tank, it provides a lot of interest to the top of the tank, just like any of the roots of your floating plants. I really think they look like, well, like water snowflakes, water flowers. Anyways, I really like it. A lot of interest at the top of the tank. Number three, it does great in a lot of different water conditions. For pH, it handles really well from like 5 to 8. For temperature, from 70 to 82 degrees, and I think that's actually pretty conservative. I think it can go well down into the 60s. And for water hardness, 2 to 20 degrees. So wide variety of conditions that it will be really happy in your tank. Number four, it's fast growing. Just like other floating plants, I lump it into floating plants because, like I said, I really prefer to float them. Hornwort and your floating plants, they grow really, really fast. So does Ambulia. You're gonna be really quite surprised at how fast it grows. And even if you increase the light and give it extra fertilization, it'll grow even faster. Number five, super, super easy to propagate. Even if you're brand new to aquatic plants, you're a super duper beginner, really easy to propagate. It will eventually grow, if the conditions are right, it will grow via runners along the substrate, and then all you need to do is snip the little runners, and then you have 2 plants or 3 plants, whatever. You can also trim it. So you just trim off a piece that you want. If it's getting too tall, this works really great too. And then you just plant that little trimming into the substrate, and now bam, you've got yourself a new plant. Number six, this is always a bonus for me, low light. A lot of our tanks have low lights. We don't have special lights. I don't really run any high light tanks in my fish room. Yeah, so anywhere low to medium lights, it's gonna do really just great for you. Number seven, it's great for cover. So if you have any little fish, any fry that want to take cover, it'll work great for that. And if you have fish that are egg scatterers, you can quite possibly get some surprise little babies that are able to find some cover and stay alive. Number eight, you really don't need much fertilization. I have a lot of plants I prefer a lot of my plants to not require a whole lot of fertilization. I like my beginner plants. I like easy plants. This is a really easy plant. It doesn't really require any special fertilization, and it will be doing just fine in your tank. All right, next two, to wrap it up, 9 and 10, I think of as kind of like bonus little tidbits here. Number 9 is, believe it or not, it closes at night. So when it gets darker out, those little whorls will kind of close a little bit. So that's kind of a fun little interesting thing to see. I find that very interesting. Like in the garden, the osteospermums that do that, they close up at night. It's just really, really cool. And number 10, just a fun little fact for this one is it can also grow immersed. I love plants when they do that. And this one, in addition to other aquatic plants that can grow immersed, this one will flower when it grows outside of the water, which is just an added bonus. Now, to negatives, some cons that I probably should mention is it does not like high flow. So if you have any tanks with a lot of water movement, it won't like it very much. It won't grow, and it may become really unhappy and lose its leaves. And number two, you do need to check your area, see if it is considered invasive. I know in Florida it's considered invasive. Around here in Illinois, I know water hyacinth is invasive. I don't put it outside in my pond, and this one is probably the same way. My guess is in a lot of areas it is considered invasive, so definitely keep it contained inside if you do have it, because it does have all of the properties of an invasive plant. It grows a bunch of different ways, it grows really fast and in a lot of different water conditions. So just you definitely want to do your homework with that one. But hopefully you like the video, maybe you learned something new. Let me know if you have this plant, or if you've ever had it, you liked it, you didn't like it. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.